History has taught us that the decline or disappearance of most ancient civilizations can be attributed to various factors, including natural disasters, depletion of resources, epidemics, warfare, and more. However, within the vast tapestry of prehistoric tales, an intriguing enigma emerges, a remarkable civilization that defied all expectations and mysteriously vanished into the mists of time, without any of these commonly cited causes playing a role in its downfall. Today, we're going to spin the globe around to modern-day Pakistan, a land that was home to one of the oldest civilizations on Earth, the Indus Valley civilization, dating back to about 2500 BCE. For many centuries, this civilization has flourished and built cities that showcase an exceptional level of urban planning and amenities, up until it was obliterated by a massive nuclear blast. This brings us to one of the most captivating yet challenging questions. Did the Indus Valley civilization really have advanced technologies like nuclear bombs? Stick around to the end to find out the secret behind its sudden collapse, as we uncover compelling evidence that will challenge your understanding of ancient history and make you doubt your previous beliefs. It is commonly thought that the technological prowess we possess in today's modern world surpasses anything that has come in the past, never created before. The world saw its first nuclear bomb in 1945, after it was successfully tested in Alamogordo, New Mexico, United States. Not so long after this, the US dropped its most powerful weapon on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and wiped out almost all the population that lived there. But was it possible to have such an explosion more than 3,000 years ago? We do not have any videotapes or photographs to prove it, but some researchers believe that the ancient South Asian city MOHENJO-DARO, also known as the Mound of the Dead, once held the most advanced ancient settlement destroyed by the nuclear explosion. Situated right on the bank of the Indus River, this was one of the fertile lands that was densely populated by the Indus civilization. The Indus Valley civilization, also called the Harappan civilization, is the earliest known urban culture of the Indian subcontinent. The commonly held belief is that the civilization's origin can be traced back to a period spanning from 2500 to 1700 BCE, among the world's three earliest civilizations. The other two are those of Mesopotamia and Egypt. The Indus civilization was the most extensive. It was first identified in 1921 at Harappa in the Punjab region, and then in 1922 at Mohenjo-Daro, near the Indus River in the Sindh region. The Indus civilization is known to have consisted of two large cities, Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, and more than 100 towns and villages, often of relatively small size. Each of these two cities was originally about 1.6 square kilometers in overall dimensions, and their outstanding magnitude suggests political centralization. The population was estimated to be 30,000 in Harappa and 40,000 in Mohenjo-Daro. According to archaeologists, both cities were similarly organized and featured an advanced urban planning system, far more advanced than that of any other ancient civilization thousands of years ago. Mohenjo-Daro was built on a raised mound or platform, which protected it from flooding. The city was divided into two major parts, the citadel and the lower city. The citadel was an elevated area, surrounded by a massive mud brick wall, and housed important buildings and structures such as administrative centers, public baths, and the famous Great Bath. The lower city, where the majority of the population lived, was laid out in a grid pattern with straight streets and well-organized residential areas. The architecture of Mohenjo-Daro was outstanding for its time. The houses were built using standardized kiln-baked bricks and featured multiple rooms, private wells, and indoor bathrooms connected to a sophisticated drainage system. Perhaps the most interesting thing was the complex network of underground sewer systems found at the site that ran through the center of the streets. Besides, it had man-made brick structures of drinking water for the public. If something is surprising at Mohenjo-Daro, then it is the complete absence of buildings that can be identified as temples or palaces or any kind of symbolism that may be associated with it. The Indus Valley civilization relied primarily on farming and agriculture, supplemented by considerable but often elusive commerce. Wheat and 6-row barley were grown, field peas, mustard, sesame, and a few date stones have also been found, as well as some of the earliest known traces of cotton. Domesticated animals included dogs and cats, humped and short-horned cattle, domestic fowl, pigs, camels, and buffalo. Trade played a significant role in the city's prosperity, as evidenced by the discovery of various artifacts such as beads, jewelry, pottery, and tools made from materials like bronze, copper, and semi-precious stones. The presence of a dockyard suggests that the Indus civilization had access to trade routes, likely along the Indus River. Excavations of Indus cities have revealed a rich artistic legacy that provides insights into the minds, lives, and religious beliefs of their creators. While stone structures are rare and often crude compared to Mesopotamian art, they mainly depict figures intended for worship, including seated men, composite animals, a standing nude male, and a dancing figure. The most exquisite artworks are the small but remarkable cast bronze figures, such as dancing girls, chariots, carts, and animals, showcasing advanced craftsmanship likely of Indian origin. Painted pottery and small seals made of steatite are also significant findings, with the seals showing various animals and ritual objects, possibly serving as both amulets and identification markers. Interestingly, the Indus Valley civilization seems to have emerged all of a sudden, without any trace of an earlier evolution prior to the inhabitants of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. But if the appearance of such an astonishing civilization remains a mystery, its disappearance poses an even greater puzzle. Initially believed to have been caused by invasions from Indo-European populations, some researchers propose that drought compelled the Indus people to leave their settlements, while others suggest that natural calamities like floods played a role in the civilization's decline. However, all of these theories share a common limitation. Excavations have failed to uncover any conclusive evidence supporting them. Something far more intriguing and extraordinary might have unfolded at the ancient site of Mohenjo-Daro, challenging the conventional theories and sending our imaginations soaring. So, what could that be? Well, there is no need to search for proof elsewhere, as all the available evidence clearly suggests that a colossal nuclear blast resulted in the eradication of the Indus Valley civilization. After being rediscovered during the 1920s, Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro experienced significant unearthing from that point forward. When excavations reached the street level, 44 skeletons scattered about the cities were discovered, many sprawling in the streets as if some instant, horrible doom had taken place. People were just lying, unburied, on the grounds of the city. Imagine that a father, mother, and child were found flattened, face down, and still holding hands. What could cause such a thing? Why did the bodies not decay or get eaten by wild animals? Furthermore, there is no apparent cause of a physically violent death. These skeletons, which date back thousands of years ago, are among the most radioactive ever found, on par with those at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. There exists a growing number of archaeologists and researchers who have not settled for theories that do not satisfactorily explain the conditions of the skeletal remains, and who have sought other explanations. David Davenport, a British Indian researcher, spent over 12 years studying ancient Hindu scripts and searching for evidence of the site where the great city of Mohenjo-Daro once stood. In his book Atomic Destruction in 2000 BC, Davenport reveals some startling discoveries. The objects found at the site appeared to be fused, glassified by intense heat as high as 1500 degrees Celsius, and followed by sudden cooling. Within the city itself, there appeared the epicenter of the explosion, about 50 yards wide, within which everything was crystallized, fused, or melted. And 60 yards from the center, the bricks were melted on one side. So, what kind of weapons could have caused such devastating effects on people and the surrounding buildings? It is possible that, as some people sustain, Mohenjo-Daro was really destroyed by a nuclear explosion? All this evidence indicates that a powerful blast, comparable to current atomic bombs, happened in the area more than 3,000 years ago. In his book Riddles of Ancient History, British author Alexander Grabowski reported the discovery of at least one human in the region with a level of radioactivity 50 times greater than the natural level. Can you just imagine that? Davenport claimed that the findings at Mohenjo-Daro were strikingly similar to the effects observed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. His theory was met with intense interest from the scientific community. It's possible that what happened was not a natural phenomenon, since there was no indication of a volcanic eruption at Mohenjo-Daro or another disaster that could explain such a feature. Davenport suggested that the ancient city and its inhabitants were destroyed by a blast from an ancient advanced weapon, likened to a modern-day nuclear bomb. But marks of such a large-scale explosion have been found across the Indian subcontinent. For example, in Jodhpur, on the edge of the Thar Desert in India. A 3-square-mile radioactive zone was discovered during excavation for a housing project. Underground was a layer of radioactive dust consistent with what is usually found in areas after a nuclear detonation. There are several other locations where researchers have detected the footprints of what they are calling possible nuclear explosions in ancient times. As it turns out, there are at least 3 major points in the area between the mountains of Raj Mahal and the Ganges River where scientists have spotted large layers of ash and a presence of radiation that is higher than the average normal. Taking various perspectives into account, several researchers have presented proof contradicting these findings, indicating that the bodies unearthed at MOHENJO-DARO were part of a mass grave of the sloppiest, most contemptuous kind. Some have claimed that their traditional mud block structure should have been completely destroyed by the force of a nuclear blast. However, it has been noted that certain buildings surprisingly remain standing at a height of 15 feet, defying expectations of their vulnerability to such catastrophic events. Nevertheless, there appears to be sufficient evidence for us to contemplate. Could there be more to our mankind's history than we once thought? What if the ancient story of the Indus Valley civilization is not an allegorical myth, but rather a historical account of events that actually took place? Is it reasonable to say that humans have discovered the secrets of nuclear power way back in the distant past, before literally blowing themselves back to the Stone Age? Or perhaps it is something deeper, more evil. Perhaps these weapons belonged to gods and were not being used by humans but on humans. Who knows? Maybe those recorded in the ancient texts as gods were not gods at all, but aliens. More importantly, if such events have occurred before, what guarantees do we have that history won't repeat itself? The profound knowledge possessed by the Indus Valley civilization and their expertise in nuclear weapons has sparked endless questions. The mysterious scenario of their sudden disappearance has shrouded the past in intrigue, fueling contradictory theories and captivating speculations. As seekers of truth, we must embrace our insatiable curiosity, fearlessly delving into uncharted territories and uncovering the secrets that history has overlooked. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for tuning in and see you in the next one.